Hey guys, Drink Up here, and today's the 80th anniversary of Thomas the Tank Engine. So, something special I wanted to do was to read one of the RWS books, the series of which Thomas the Tank Engine was thrived on. And yes, we're going to read James the Red Engine. As you guys voted in the poll of which one I should do, the one that I last checked on was winning was James the Red Engine. So, as a special of this, I'm going to be reading this. James and the Top Hat. James was a new engine who lived on a station at the other end of the line. He had 2 small wheels in front and 6 driving wheels behind. They weren't as big as Gordon's, and they weren't as small as Thomas's. You're a special mixed traffic engine, the Fat Controller told him. They'll be able to pull coaches or trucks quite easily. But trucks are not easy things to manage. On his first day, they pushed him down a hill into a field. Alright, next page. He had been ill after the accident, but now he had new brakes and a shining coat of red paint. The red paint will cheer you up after the accident, said the Fat Controller kindly. You are to pull coaches today, and Edward shall help you. They went together to find coaches. Be careful with coaches, James, said Edward. They don't like being bumped. Trucks are silly and noisy. They need to be bumped and taught to behave. But coaches get cross and will pay you out. Next page. They took the coaches to the platform but were both coupled on in the front. The Fat Controller, the station master, and some little boys all came to admire James's shining rods and red paint. James was pleased. I'm a really splendid engine, he thought, and suddenly let off some steam. Whee! The Fat Controller, the station master, and the guard all jumped, and a shower of water fell on the Fat Controller's nice new top hat. Just then, the whistle blew. James thought he had better go, so they went. Alright, next page. Go on, he puffed to Edward. Don't push, puffed Edward, for he did not like starting quickly. Don't go so fast, grumbled the coaches. But James did not listen. He wanted to run away before the Fat Controller could call him back. He didn't even want to stop at the first station. Edward tried hard to stop, but the 2 coaches in the front were beyond the platform before they stopped, and they had to go back to let the passengers get out. Alright. Lots of people came to look at James as no one seemed to know about the Fat Controller's top hat. James felt happier. Presently, they came to the junction where Thomas was waiting with his 2 coaches. Hello, James, said Thomas kindly. Feeling better? That's right. That's my guard's whistle. I must go. Sorry, I can't stop. I don't know what the Fat Controller would do without me to run this branch line. And he puffed off importantly with his 2 coaches into a tunnel. Okay, next page. Leaving the junction, they passed the field where James had his accident. The fence was mended and the cows were back again. James whistled, but they paid no attention. They clattered through Edward's station yard and started to climb the hill beyond. It's ever so steep, puffed James. I've done it before, puffed Edward. It's steep, but we'll do it. The 2 engines puffed together as they pulled the train up the long hill. They both rested at the next station. Edward told James how Gordon had snuck up on the hill, and he had to push him up. James laughed so much that he got hiccoughs. And surprised an old lady in a black bonnet. She dropped all her parcels and 3 porters. The station master and the guard had to run up after her, picking them up. James was quiet in the shed that night. He enjoyed his day, but was a little afraid of what the Fat Controller would say about his top hat. James and the Bootlace. Next morning, the Fat Controller spoke severely to James. You can't behave. If you can't behave, I shall take away your red coat and have you painted blue. James did not like that at all, and he was very rough with the coaches as he brought them into the platform. Come along, he said really. All in good time, the coaches grumbled. Don't talk, come on, answered James, and with the coaches squealing and grumbling after him, he snorted into the station. And James was cross that morning. The Fat Controller had spoken to him, the coaches had dawdled, and worst of all, he had to fetch his own coaches. Gordon never does, thought James, and he's only painted blue. A splendid red engine like me should never have to fetch his own coaches. As he puffed and snorted around to the front of the train, and backed onto it with a rude bump. Oh! groaned the coaches. That was too bad! Okay. To make James even more cross, he then had to take the coaches to a different platform where no one came near him as he stood there. The Fat Controller was in his office. The station master was at the other end of the train with the guard, and even the little boy stood a long way off. James felt lonely. I'll show him, he said to himself. They think Gordon is the only engine who can pull coaches. As soon as the guard's whistle blew, he started off with a tremendous jerk. Alright. Come on, he puffed, and the coaches, squeaking and groaning in protest, clattered over the points onto the open line. Hurry, puffed James. You're going too fast, said the coaches. And indeed, they were going so fast that they swayed from side to side. James laughed and tried to go faster, but the coaches wouldn't let him. We're going to stop. They said, and James found himself going slower and slower. What's the matter? James asked his driver. The brakes are hard on. Leaked in the pipe, most likely. You've banged the coaches enough. You made a leak in anything. The guard and the driver got down and looked in the brake pipes all along the train. At last they found the hole where the rough treatment had made the joint loose. How shall we mend it? Said the guard. James's driver thought for a moment. We'll do it with newspapers and a bootlace. I'm doing this all in one take, just so you know. Well, where is the bootlace coming from? Asked the guard. We haven't one. Ask the passengers, said the driver. So the guard made everyone get out. Has anyone got a leather bootlace? And he asked. They all said no, except for one man in a bowler hat whose name was Jeremiah Joplin, who tried to hide his feet. You have a leather bootlace there. I see it. Sir, said the guard. Please give it to me. I won't, said Jeremiah Joplin. Then, said the guard sternly, I'm afraid this train will have to stop where it is. Then the passengers told the guard and the driver told the guard, the driver, and the fireman what a bad railway it was. But the guard climbed out into his van, and the driver and the fireman made James let off steam. So they told Jeremiah Joplin he was a bad man instead. At least he gave them his laces. The driver tied a padded newspaper tightly around the hole, and James was able to pull the train. But he was sadder and wiser. But he was a sadder and a wiser James, and took care never to bump coaches again. Troublesome Chucks. James did not see the Fat Controller for several days. They left James alone in a shed and did not allow him to go on and push coaches. and trucks in the yard. Oh dear, he thought sadly. I'll never be allowed out anymore. I shall have to stay in the shed for always, and no one will ever see my red coat again. Oh dear, oh dear. And James began to cry. Just then, the Fat Controller came along. I see you are sorry, James, he said. I hope now that you will be a better engine. You have given me a lot of trouble. People are laughing at my railway, and I do not like that at all. I am very sorry, sir, said James. I'll try hard to behave. That's a good engine, said the Fat Controller kindly. I want you to pull some trucks for me. Run along and find them. So James puffed happily away. Here are your trucks, James, said a little tank engine. Have you got some boot laces ready? And he ran off laughing rudely. Oh, oh, oh! said the trucks as James backed down on them. We want a proper engine, not a red monster! James took no notice and started as soon as the guard was ready. Come along, he puffed. We won't, screamed the trucks. But James didn't care, and he pulled the screeching trucks sternly out of the yard. The trucks tried hard to make him give up, but he still kept on. Sometimes the brakes will slip on, and sometimes their axles would run hot, and each time they would have to stop and put the trouble right. And each time James would have to start again, determined not to let the truck speed him. Give up, you can't pull us, you can't, called the trucks. I can and I will, puffed James. When slowly but surely, he pulled them along on the line. At last, they saw Gordon's Hill ahead. Look out for trouble, James, warned his driver. Well, go fast and get them up before they even know it. Don't let them stop you. So James went faster, and soon they were halfway up the hill. I'm doing it, he panted, but it was hard work. Will the top ever come? He thought, and then with a sudden jerk, it all came easier. I've done it, he puffed triumphantly. Hurrah, he thought, it's easy now. But his driver let off steam. They've done it again, we've left our tail behind. The last 10 trucks were running backwards down the hill. The coupling had snapped, but the guard was brave and very carefully and cleverly made them stop. Then he got out and walked down the line with his red flag. That's why it was easy, said James, as he backed down on the other trucks carefully. What silly things trucks are. There might have been an accident. Meanwhile, the guard had stopped Edward, who was pulling 3 coaches. Shall I help you, James? Called Edward. No, thank you. I'll pull them myself, answered James. Good, don't let them beat you. So James got ready. Then with a peep peep, he was off. I can do it, he puffed. And he pulled and puffed as hard as he could. Peep, 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 peep. You're doing well, whistled Edward, as James slowly struggled up the hill, with clouds of smoke and steam pouring from his funnel. I've done it, he panted and disappeared over the top. They had reached their station safely. James was resting in the yard when Edward puffed with a cheerful peep peep, and then was walking towards him across the rails. James saw the Fat Controller. Oh dear, what will he say? He asked himself sadly. But the Fat Controller was smiling. He said, You've made the most troublesome trucks on the line behave. After that, you deserved you keep your red coat. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is the last book of the James thing. Yeah. Alright, here we go. This is the final stretch. I can do this. James and the Express. Sometimes Gordon and Henry slept in James's shed, and they would talk of nothing but boost laces. James would talk about engines who got shut up in tunnels and stuck on hills, but they would never listen, and went on talking and laughing. You talk too much, old James, Gordon would say. A fine strong engine like me has something to talk about. I'm the only engine who can pull the express. When I'm not there, they need 2 engines. Think of that. I've pulled the express for years, and have never once lost my way. I seem to know the right line by instinct, said Gordon proudly. Every wise engine knows, of course. That the signalman works the points to make the engines run on the right lines. But Gordon was so proud that he had forgotten. Wake up, James, he said the next morning. It's nearly time for the express. What are you doing? Odd jobs? Ah, well. We'll have to begin somewhere, don't we? Run along now and get my coaches. Don't be late now. James went to get Gordon's coaches. They were now all shining with lovely new paint. He was careful not to bump them, and they followed him smoothly into the station, singing happily. We're going away! We're going away! I wish I was going with you, said James. I should love to pull the express and go flying along with the line. He left them in the station and went back in the yard, just as Gordon, with much noise and blowing of steam, backed on to the train. The Fat Controller was on the train with other important people, and as soon as they heard the guard's whistle, Gordon started. Look at me now! Look at me now! He puffed, and the coaches glided after him out of the station. Poop, 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 poop. Goodbye, little James. See you tomorrow. James watched the train disappear around a curve, and then went back to work. He pushed some trucks into the proper siding and went to fetch some coaches for another train. He brought the coaches onto the platform, and it was just about being uncoupled when he heard a mournful, quiet shush, 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 shush. And there was Gordon trying to slide into the station without being noticed. Hello, Gordon. Is it tomorrow? He asked James. Gordon didn't answer and just let out steam feebly. Did you lose your way, Gordon? No, it was lost for me, he answered crossly. I was switched off the main line and onto the loop. I had to go all around and back again. Perhaps it was instinct, just James said brightly. Meanwhile, all the passengers hurried to the booking office. We want our money back, they shouted. Everyone was making a noise, but the Fat Controller climbed onto a trolley and blew the guard's whistle so loudly that they stopped to look at him. Then he promised a new train at once. Gordon can't do it, he said. Will you pull it for us, James? Yes, sir, I'll try. So James was coupled on, and everyone got it again. Do your best, James, said the Fat Controller kindly. Just then, the whistle blew, and he had to run to get in. Come along, puffed James. You're pulling us well, sang the coaches. Hurry, 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 puffed James. Stations and bridges flashed by, and the passengers leaned out of the windows and cheered, and they soon reached the terminus. Everyone said thank you to James. Well done, said the Fat Controller. Would you like to pull the express sometime? Oh, yes, please, James answered happily. The next day, when James came by, Gordon was pushing trucks in the yard. I like some quiet work for a change, he said. I'm teaching these trucks manners. You did well with those coaches, I hear. Good. We'll show them. And he gave his trucks a bump, making them cry, oh, 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 oh! James and Gordon were now good friends. James sometimes takes the express to give Gordon a rest. Gordon never talks about bootlaces, and they are both quite agreed on the subject of trucks. The end. I just want to say happy 80th anniversary to Thomas the Tank Engine out there. You've done a really good job, and you'll always be a good place in my heart. With that, Zane, thank you for 80 years of Thomas the Tank Engine, and I just hope there are more good future projects out there. With that, I'm Train Cup, and I'll see you next time.